I'm Matt.
I'm Shane, and you are about to listen to an excerpt from a Comic Movie Marks podcast.
So if you like what you hear, make sure you hit that like button real hard, and make sure you subscribe to Comic Movie Marks. And always remember,
if Trailer Trash can do it,
anyone can do it. All right, let's get to number 2.
All right, so number 2 for Tim is Wonder Woman. Number 2 for Mike is Logan. And number 2 for Battle Bob is also Wonder Woman.
All right, Nick, go ahead and give your number 2. Is it Wonder Woman?
Obviously, yeah. My number 2 is Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
What?
I genuinely thought the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was better than the original. I think
we actually kind of agreed with you on that. We do agree with you on that for a little bit. I thought it had a better story.
I love the first Guardians of the Galaxy, but I think the Guardians of the Galaxy 2, it just had more in it. I think there was, again, similar to Ragnarok, I liked the character development. I thought that what they did with Yondu, what they did with Rocket, what they did with Nebula and Gamora, that relationship. The movie had kind of like this theme of like broken families and broken, like almost like abusive families, like
relationship.
Peter had, Peter had to just, grew up with Yondu, who obviously was not a good person, but then he finds a dad, and his dad turns out to be an evil, horrible planet that wants to kill the entire universe. You have, Gamora, who cared more about staying alive than caring for her sister, and the impact that had on her sister, on Nebula. You have both Yondu and Rocket, who both were essentially abandoned by the people they cared about and just push people away when things get really uncomfortable and get really unsafe. And I genuinely think that movie hit me so hard, especially near the end, when Yondu ends up, dying. They have the big Ravager, funeral at the end. That moment just, hit me so hard. It just left a huge mark in the fact that this was a movie that is so good that I'm going to come back to it again and again and again. I liked the action scenes. I liked the humor. The fact that, Yondu, when he smashes in and with the ship to save everybody, when Peter's being, zapped like a battery, and they're like, I took care of you. You said you were going to eat me. Oh, I'm not going to eat you as a joke. It wasn't funny to me. It's like, well, what do you expect? My dad is that. And you see, Ego, trying to form, and he's, this monster, weird, creepy, I'm an electric guy, but I'm, screaming and stuff, and they just hit him with the ship again, and just, there's a lot of humor in that movie that I think really, really works. But I think on a deeper level, it's not just the humor in that movie that works, but also that underpinning sense of, loss and ultimately of redemption. Yondu was able to redeem himself by saving Peter and coming to save the rest of the Guardians. Rocket was able to redeem himself after stealing the batteries. Even Nebula, who in the last movie was just a straight up cold-blooded killer, actually redeemed herself by trying to save and help each other. And I just thought that there were so many layers to that film that worked so well for me. The fact that literally the main bad guy is the ego, and the fact that it's not just the ego of the planet, but it's the ego of the characters. It's Peter's ego getting in the way of him thinking things through. It's Rocket's ego getting in the way of him of accepting love. It's Gamora's ego getting in the way of her loving for her sister. And so it's not even just that it's funny, but it's also a lot of interesting meta commentary on how relationships can change and evolve past trauma, past horrible, awful things, and actually come out stronger at the end. And so when I watched Guardians, there was only one other movie that did this to me, and we'll get there in a second too. But at the ending of that movie, when you see the Ravager funeral, and you just see the Yondu that obviously he was not a good person. He wasn't an amazing guy. He was very selfish, and he was abusive, and he was problematic, and he had all these issues, could still redeem himself and let go of his ego, and ultimately be able to show the other Guardians that there was some redemption in him. That ending and watching the fireworks go off in space, I was bawling my eyes out. And I thought, and that just hit me so hard, and I came home 2 or 3 weeks ago, and my wife had put it on the TV, and I was like, oh cool, I'll watch Guardians again, no big deal, because I think it's on Netflix now.
Yep.
and I just stood there for like 10 minutes. Like I'm literally like, I just get home from work and I'm like, okay, let's get my stuff down. And I just stand there and I'm looking at the TV and I'm like, God, this movie is good. Like I forgot almost. And just like the action is good, the humor is good. I mean, freaking, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. Like that is like, I think probably the quote of the entire like year. Like Yondu just coming down. Is Mary Poppins cool? Is he a cool guy? Yeah, he's cool. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
What?
You look like Mary Poppins.
Is he cool?
Hell yeah, he's cool.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
You know, and and so it's just, there's so many things that I think worked in that movie. Yes, I will agree with you. Drax kind of got a little changed, and yes, they definitely could have done better with Mantis. But overall, I just thought it worked incredibly well. And you know, I think I don't know if I told you guys this or not, but I think it'd probably be my top 5 of the Marvel movies. Like it hit me really hard, and I think it's a fantastic film. And so that's why I put that as my number 2.
Nice. Well, into the eyes of a Marvel fanboy, you definitely spoke to that movie really well. I think Matt and I agree with a lot of the things that you said about Guardians and the characters and everything like that. There's just certain things that unfortunately weigh the movie down as well. That wouldn't put it so high up on the list. But one thing down the line, Matt and I hope to rank all of the Marvel movies, and maybe we'll bring you on for that one as well, because it'll be interesting to get your take on that also.
I would love to. That'd be great.
Cool. So my number 2, I'm gonna say I'm pretty sure it's Matt's number 2 as well.
Yeah.
It's right in line with Tim and Battle Bob. Also is Wonder
Split.
Woman.
Oh.
Yes, Split. That was fantastic.
Murder on the Orient Express.
Wonder Woman. It's funny hearing you talk about Guardians 2 and how it had an impact on you, because the second time that I saw Wonder Woman, I had that same exact feeling of like, holy shit, this is how Warner Brothers should have taken the DCU. Like you have, yes, Batman versus Superman can be considered dark. I don't think Man of Steel is dark, but you have like all these different types of movies, and you have in one hand you have Suicide Squad and Justice League. And then on the other hand, you have fantastic movies like Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Wonder Woman. And it's so crazy how different those two are. And I feel like Wonder Woman rode this perfect middle line of, yeah, it's there are parts where it doesn't take itself too seriously. I can deal with those. You know, when she's trying on the different garb, and she's like, how do you fight in this fight? You know, and then she's like trying
with this dress on.
Yeah, and then she's trying to leave with her. She's just carrying her shield and her sword, and she's trying to walk out like, okay, I have my attire now that we got that figured out. I fit in now. Let me try to walk through this little spinny thing, and you know, there's the humor in there. It works. Yeah, it's a little corny. It doesn't take itself too seriously. There's some sexual references in there as well, yeah. But it works. It toes that line of that the Snyder fans who want something a little darker and gritty can deal with and still really love. And hey, look, it's going to be fun and enjoyable for an entire family as well. Like, I feel like it toes that line so perfect. And when that movie came out, that's how I expected Justice League to be as well. Of like, yeah. Okay, they're gonna lighten it up. I guarantee they're gonna lighten it up a little bit. But holy shit, you don't have to lighten Justice League up that much. You know, like, I don't know why they couldn't figure out that perfect balance. But bravo to Patty Jenkins and Zack Snyder and that entire crew that was on that. I want to say, I can't even think of who the other screenwriters are on that. But anyways, a fantastic movie. And as I said earlier, the same feeling that Nico had on Guardians of the Galaxy. That's how Wonder Woman is for me. When I'm sitting there watching it, I'm like, holy shit, this is a fantastic movie. So well done. There's great emotion. There's realism. And you know, it pulls a little bit of every emotion out of you. So that's what I loved about it.
Yeah, my number 2 is Wonder Woman. I agree with you pretty extensively that this is a good middle ground. It still had some deeper layers to it that I really enjoy. It takes a while to get to it, but it does happen at the end between Steve and Diana. That whole conversation about people should stop. I killed Ares, blah 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 blah, and he's like, well, maybe people are just bad. That conversation, that whole interaction going on right there, I think is phenomenal and just very well done. Chris Pine, Gal Gadot, nail it out of the park, acting wise. I just think it dialogue wise, everything works.
All of this should have stopped.
Diana,
the fighting should have stopped.
we don't have time to
Why
talk
are
about
they
this.
doing
I don't know. I don't know.
Ares
I
is
know
dead.
that
They can stop fighting now. Why are they still fighting?
That's because maybe it's them. Maybe people aren't always good. Ares or no Ares. Maybe it's who they are. Diana.
No.
Diana, we can talk about this later.
No.
I need you to come with me.
No, after everything I saw, it can't be. It cannot be. They were killing each other. Killing people they cannot see. Children. No, it had to be him. It cannot be them.
Diana, people...
She was right. My mother was right. She said the world of men do not deserve you. They don't deserve our help.
It's
It's
not about deserve. It's
help.
not. Maybe we don't. But it's not about that. It's about what you believe. You don't think I get it after what I've seen out there? You don't think I wish I could tell you that it was one bad guy to blame? It's not. We're all to blame.
Very, very well.
The No Man's Land.
The No Man's Land
right,
scene.
right before the No Man's Land scene, when they're talking about like, no, this isn't a part. Like, you have to fight the small battles, and yeah, we get it. You know, you want to get over there and you want to save these people, but we can't. So we're here to do our job, and kind of seeing that side of war is so powerful. Of like, no, look, we can't do that. We're not fucking Wonder Woman. Basically, we're here to do our job. That's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna keep moving on. You see people who are getting shot. We have to keep going. We have to do our job.
Right. And I think that set up her character fairly well. The humor was better, and it worked for the most part throughout this movie. There's a couple forced moments here and there. Ares, ultimately, as a villain, this is the thing. When we did our villains list, Ares was nowhere near on my list. I think he was number something on yours.
I don't even remember.
Like number 5, I think maybe
Yeah.
you gave him or something like that. The problem with Ares is not necessarily the character itself. I think it's what they tried to do with this character. I know, Nick, you haven't seen it, but too fucking bad at this point.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. I think they tried so hard to make like a twist ending that it was this Colonel Sanders looking motherfucker for so long that they didn't give the character, they didn't give Ares the time that he needed. Like, you needed to see him doing something. Like, you don't have to know it's him, or I don't know. I feel like we should have seen him as Ares a little bit more. And also the actor that they had play Ares, like as the human or version of him or something like that, I just didn't buy. It's just him now in the metal Ares suit and stuff like that. I just didn't buy him.
Yeah.
I
agree.
And then like you got him in the Justice League flashback version, the yoked up steroid motherfuckers they had to play Ares then, and Zeus. It's like, those dudes are freaking totally skip leg day. Like, they got the tiniest legs, but like fucking 300 pounds on top of their shoulders, like just like, and I was just like, you don't need that, because obviously that's not going to look good as an actor walking around as a normal dude. But I just never believed that guy as Ares.
I think it would have worked. I completely agree. I think it would have worked had it just been his voice. I thought he did a great voice acting on that. But when you get kind of like his face behind the metal,
with the mustache,
that's just corny. Yeah. And I agree that there wasn't really enough of him to where you can really feel like the impact of Ares. And
I feel like you needed a Greek guy, because it's Greek mythology.
Yeah.
And so I feel like you needed like a guy with jet black hair, slick back, something like that, a little bit more of a presence. Remember, I don't know the actor's name, but you remember the guy that played Zeus in Immortals, the Henry Cavill movie?
Yeah.
Like him.
Right.
Like him. Like, I could believe him.
Yeah.
Like this suave kind of like slick back haired motherfucker and shit like that.
Buff ass dude.
Yeah, and he was buff for that movie.
Yeah.
And so I was like, Maybe, but I guess he wouldn't fit into their narrative of British intelligence or whatever, because that's what I mean. They had to have this twist,
right?
That we all thought it was this one guy. Oh, it's totally this guy.
Right.
He's sniffing coke and shit.
Yeah.
And stuff like, this is him.
Something super powerful.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
This pursuit of crack leaves me tired and depleted. But now cocaine comes in a delicious shape. Red balls. It gives me wings. Red balls. Cocaine in a can, baby.
But it's not. It's this other guy that I don't know. I saw it coming. I honestly, the first time we saw it, I'm like, oh yeah, because the way he reacted when he first saw her, I thought it was like a dead giveaway. That like, oh yeah, because
Well, you thought wrong, because it was not a dead giveaway to me.
Oh. Well, it's just because of what Hippolyta said, Mama Wonder. What she said, like, oh, once he figures out he was gonna have, like, I don't know, she said something like
yeah,
he would have some kind of reaction or some manner or something like that of like, oh, if he knows who she is and stuff like that. Just like, and the way this guy had the reaction, I'm like, oh, there's the reaction. Like, okay, yeah, he knows who she is and blah 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 and so forth. I'm like, ooh, and so I love what they had him do at the end though. I like the Man of Steel flashback.
yeah,
And he was explaining the people like he hasn't done anything. He's just kind of give him a little push, you know, just like Heath Ledger. He hasn't really done anything. This is how terrible men are. You know, they're ruining
humanity.
the world.
Yep.
Humanity in general is awful. I didn't really do this. Blah blah blah. I loved all that.
Yeah,
but I just felt like it just needed to be a different guy,
right?
And it was just
well, and really, you don't really need to show his face. Like, well, once he becomes Ares, just have like, I don't know, some
mustache
menacing mask, or you know what I mean. That was weird. That was a weird shield face thingy.
Yeah, and I didn't mind how the fight went.
That's the word I was looking for.
People had problems with the fight at the end. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a little Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah,
it was a shit.
Yeah, it's definitely Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, you made that comparison.
Well, thank you. Now, what, you want me to shut up about it now?
No, no.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you made that comparison.
I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ, shut the fuck up.
You guys are complaining
you
about
made that
jokes
comparison
being reused.
in our.
What's that, Nick?
You guys are being complained about jokes being reused, so.
Oh, we have to. No one listens to our show.
Exactly. This is news to you.
So it's all fresh. No matter what. Every episode, it's fresh. Every day's a new day. Yeah. Anyway. All right. So let's. You have any other more comments about Wonder Woman?
Looks good.
So number ones, we're gonna get to the number ones. I'm gonna start actually with Mike. His number one.
So we can laugh at him.
So his number one is Justice League.
He actually put JLA. He wasn't even Justice League America, motherfucker.
So I'm gonna argue for him real quick before we get into everyone else's, because I think it's pretty unanimous. Ouch.
Don't argue for that shit.
So one of the common things, other than what could have been, that I've been seeing on social media, is just the fact that now we are seeing this live action. Finally, it's the Justice League. You even said it. He put JLA. It's what we have been waiting for, and we've finally seen it on the big screen. If that holds enough weight for you, which it does for a lot of people. A lot of people are like, no,
78% on Rotten Tomatoes on the fan rating.
Yeah, so
something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking high.
It's higher than it should be.
Higher than Batman v Superman. It might actually be higher than Man of Steel too. I think Man of Steel's like in the 60s, isn't it?
No, I don't think it's in the 70s.
I haven't checked it. But I think there's enough people that I've seen on social media, on Instagram, even some on YouTube, that really enjoyed this Justice League. And even though I think a lot of people can agree, no, it didn't give us half the shit we were hoping for, more than half the shit we were hoping for. They also, there's a lot of stuff that was also changed in it. There's still something there. It's still the Justice League. There's some enjoyable parts about it. Yeah, it's a basic ass movie, but I think if that holds enough weight for you, then I could see people really enjoying that movie, and I've seen quite a bit on social media. So that's the only thing I can think of.
I've seen that in my work. A couple people talking about, oh, it's going on, because I talked about going on digital download. Like, oh, cool, I'm gonna get that. That's definitely worth getting. Like, so forth, and I'm just kind of like listening to them. Like, and like I've said before, we are not the casual movie audience.
Right.
We're not the moviegoers that you see every day. Not the people and stuff like that. It's those ones out there that don't really know much about the characters. They're the one that builds these movies or breaks these movies. You know, and if they are the ones that like it, they're the ones that are going to buy the Blu-ray or digital download, whatever. And it may not be us. It may be one of us out of the three here. But, hey, it's still a sale. A sale is a sale. And if they make the money off the movie, they make the money off the movie.
Yeah.
So if that's what people like, well, all power to them, I guess.
So I just wanted to argue that before we get into unanimously number one. Nick, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Split. No, stole your joke. Had to reuse it. Is Logan. I think for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Tim and Battle Bob, also Logan. It was Mike's number two. Just talk on some awesome things about this movie. My favorite thing, other than it being rated R and being gory as hell and pretty awesome, is the fact that it pulls every emotion out of you. I love movies that you can get into the character itself. You get, there's the real sad parts, obviously, when Logan dies. There's some entertaining parts. There's some humor to it. Him and
X-23 or Professor X.
Professor X. Him and Professor X.
Not a box of avocados.
Yeah.
Make way, sir.
I said, make way! The new quesalupa from Taco Bell. Get it with chicken, get it with steak, but with the cheese baked right in the shell. It's the next big thing. Go now while supplies last.
Yeah, their whole relationship was fantastic. Even him and the little, what's the little girl?
Laura.
Yeah, Laura.
Yeah.
Even like
I almost want to call Daphne because that's the actress's name.
Nice. You know the actress's name. Nice. Yeah. So their relationship I thought was really cool. And another one of my favorite things about certain movies, and actually Immortals did this as well, when you have a villain that is just fucking beating down the hero so much that you can't wait for them to die. I love that. I love that feeling of like, fuck, like when is he gonna get his, an actual like anger in the movie. And I put Pierce / X-23 as my top villain of 2017, and that's why, because it just pulled that out of you of like, man, Logan is getting his ass kicked, and I love that. I love that about movies, and it's hard to knock anything about this. Damn near perfect.
Go ahead, Nick.
I really liked Logan. I think I like X-Men. That's always been my comic book, and I think Logan, this is the first time they've really got Wolverine right. Aggressive, and it's definitely a swan song kind of movie where it's like this is his last hurrah, and so they're going to let him go out in a blaze of glory. Yeah, while I'll probably end up watching some of the more lighthearted movies more on kind of more rotation, I do think that Logan probably was the best, just overall, because talking about, hitting me in the gut, like this was the one that I think, like the action was brutal and it was intense and it was like they didn't pull punches like they have in the other X-Men movies. They let Hugh Jackman kind of just let loose and allowed him to kind of just become the animal rage, the berserker rage, let him kind of just become what I think Wolverine really is this just flawed, not very happy with himself, dark past individual who, when you get on the wrong side of him, you're not probably walking away. And so I think that, the X-24, when they had the clone of him, I think Xavier's death was, perfectly like depressing. Like it wasn't this like big monumentous like, end of the, he's like, he finally had his moment. It was like, nope, he just got stabbed. Yep, he's done. And I think that kind of carried out through the rest of the entire movie, is that this was not a movie that was designed to be uplifting. It was not a movie that was designed to be like lighthearted. It was a movie that was designed to just kick you while you were down, and then while you were down, we're gonna stab you with some claws and then kick you again. And so I really liked Logan. I think that Logan really was the movie that I had been waiting for Wolverine, for Hugh Jackman. I think this was a great way to finish it off. It's just it was a gut punch. I loved the scene with Xavier and when he's having his seizure, or when he's trying to stop all the people in like the hotel room, and Logan's just kind of like crawling through all the psionic waves, and it just overall just I think it really held a lot of weight, and it really left a mark on you instead of just kind of a like, oh, that was fun. I'm gonna go do some other stuff. You know, Logan's one of those movies where it's like, wow, I need a hamburger or something, or I need to go take a nap right now because that just drained me. That just had a huge impact. And so I agree with you. You know, I agree with both of you in that. I think that Logan's probably the best of the year.
All right. Yeah, Logan, number one. The thing with Logan is that for me, this movie showed that you could go. I mean, Deadpool showed R, but this showed that you could go R and have some very meaningful moments, and it can be a great way to propel a character to. Like, Wolverine was already one of the biggest characters that the biggest character Fox Marvel had. And they propelled this character, I'm not going to say like godlike status, but just to a point where I think everybody's going to think now Wolverine and Hugh Jackman. Like, this just propelled him to the point where Hugh Jackman is Wolverine, he is Logan. And I thought it was by far one of the best movies I've ever seen. I have in my head overall, in my favorite comic book movies of all time, the greatest ones, I have kind of a battle going on in my head at this moment with Logan and The Dark Knight. Those are my top comic book movies of all time. I've watched Logan several times. Why I edit some of these shows, I play Logan in the background, and then it causes the shows to be the next day because I started just watching the movie instead of just having it on in the background. It's kind of hard to have in the background. The movie, I thought, nailed humor. Every joke in that movie was perfect, and it was done in a very, very good way. I didn't feel any jokes were forced. I didn't feel anything was forced in the movie at all. And I think they took some degrees with this movie that I think a lot of people wouldn't. Like, the family that they just meet, you think like, okay, well, some things are going to go down. They might lose their house or something like that. No, the whole family gets wiped out.
Yeah.
And in brutal ways. In brutal ways. And a lot of people die in that moment, actually. If you, like, look at that house moment alone, there's, like, the little farmer guys that come, that X-24 wipes out.
Right.
The family, and then the guys in the truck that, the pale motherfucker, Caliban. When he pulls the grenade, you know, there's, like, a couple motherfuckers in that truck and Caliban. I mean, you're looking at, like, 15, 20 people dead. Like, it's an amazing amount of people dead in a small span of a movie. Brutally, too. Brutally, in a comic book movie of all things. It's just, it's fantastic. And the humor, I don't know why, but the humor just landed so well for me when I said it earlier, but when Professor X is like, when they're trying to keep moving and stuff like that, he's like, I'm not a box of fucking avocados, Logan. And like, the fact that they came out of Mexico just made it so fucking funny to me. And then for some reason, when he's beating the shit out of the truck with the shovel, because it wouldn't start, he's like, piece of shit. And I was like, and I made the joke at the time, like, that's what happens when you buy a Dodge.
Right.
It's just fantastic. The humor is great. I think the whole setup, the ending is very well done, even though X-23 gets a cheap shot on Nega Logan. Other than the cheap shot, I think she should have stood her ground. Don't hit him from behind. That's rude. But that whole ending scene is great. Phenomenal movie. Damn, there's almost nothing more you can say. The only negative I could ever say about that movie, and it's not really that much of a negative because I guess I don't care that much about the X-Men movies, was that it totally kind of like shit on the past X-Men movies. Like, it took pieces from certain movies and stuff, but it didn't really follow any of because the timelines are so fucked up in those X-Men movies. So they just picked and choose kind of what parts they wanted and what they didn't want and shit like that. So I thought that was kind of funny that, well, who gives a shit about those other ones, you know? So that was pretty funny to me that they just, fuck those movies. But that's the only negative I could think of. There's no gaping plot holes in the movie other than those past experiences and stuff like that from the previous movies. It's just a very tight-knit travel movie, you know?
Yep. Yeah,
road trip movie. You know?
Right, exactly.
Holiday road.
Like Homeward Bound.
Yeah. Homeward Bound.
So are we saying the golden retriever is Logan and the cat is X-23 and
who's the one that gets hit by the porcupine?
That's Professor X, yes.
Yeah, he's the one that gets hit by the porcupine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And
that's also a very sad movie.
Yes. Oh, fuck yeah, it is. There's like, if you look back at our kids' movies, like they're fucking sad as hell.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? The Fox and the Hound?
Oh, hell
Oh,
no.
the Fox and the Hound.
My name's Copper. I'm a hound dog.
Pressing movie.
That explains why we are the way we are.
We're fucked up, man.
Yeah, exactly. 90s kids. Woo!
Fucking Simba, Lion King.
Oh,
Fucking Mufasa getting thrown off.
I know,
Long
right?
live the king. Well, guess what?
Disney's redoing it, so
Yeah,
you get to see it
don't
in
worry.
that too.
You can see it all updated now. So that is our top movies of comic book movies. Of
that's
com-
we
2006.
rated the 2017 comic book movies 1 through 7, 1 through 5 for some of you, 1 through 6
for others.
Yes.
The special kids in the group. And so that concludes it.
Yeah.
You got any final words on those comic book movies, Nick?
No, just I think this was actually a really good year for comic movies, and like I said, I still want to see Wonder Woman, and I will see Wonder Woman, Lego Batman, and no, I think it was really well done, and I look forward to the ones that are coming out in 2018, and hopefully we'll get some good ones there too.
Yeah, originally I remember thinking a long time ago, 2016 was going to be the year of comic book movies. We had Batman versus Superman. I was really pumped at the time for Doctor Strange.
Yep.
I don't know why. Even to a point, I kind of wanted to see. Even to a point, I wanted to see Civil War.
Yeah.
And there was like this whole thing. I remember thinking like 2016. Deadpool was cool. I was like, and then Apocalypse was coming out for X-Men, and I was like, shit, yeah, 2016. That's going to be the year for comic book movies, and only Batman versus Superman Ultimate Cut and Deadpool. That's the only good ones.
Pretty
And
much.
we had to wait for the Blu-ray to come out for Batman vs Superman
to redeem itself.
to redeem itself.
Yeah.
But this year I thought was pretty solid. We had a shitty movie and a half, Justice League and Thor for me.
Yeah.
So just Justice
So which
League,
one's the shitty movie and which one's the half?
Oh, Thor is a fucking smoking pile of
Okay.
garbage. Jesus.
It'll
Exactly.
keep you warm and make everything wonderful and cook your food.
If I want to go through some extreme torture or I really hate myself, yes, I will play Thor.
I can't wait to sit down and review it again.
I remember I asked my girlfriend,
There
"You
we
want to see
go.
Thor?" No, I'm like, "Oh my god."
I love you.
Oh damn it! Yeah, because just anyway.
Nico, thank you again very much for coming on here. You always bring up all the great Marvel points. You spoke to Guardians of the Galaxy really well, so really appreciate it.
Well, I love coming on. It's always fun.
All right, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube page. We are at 124 subscribers.
Woo! Thank you.
Ups
And
and
fuck
downs.
off to the 4 or whatever it was that unsubscribed.
And fuck off to that Marvel guy. Not you, Nick. No, there's this other guy that hates us.
Yeah, for laughing. Oh, man, and he's laughing, fucking retard.
God damn it. Like, you didn't
They were
like
making me laugh.
You didn't like my Chinese message.
No, English. I seriously thought it was someone that we knew.
Yeah.
Like at that point, I'm like, come on, dude. Like, what? He's just trolling. People troll for weird ass shit. But I do think it's like a milestone. We've had a couple people who just hated us.
Yeah. But I
pretty
did like
awesome.
his comments were so worthless, YouTube made him spam. Like that, they were just so pointless. YouTube's like, this must be spam. Like, just looking at this guy, spam.
Yeah, flagged them for us. We didn't even have to do anything.
Yeah, because it was so weird. Because I never even saw the comments come up.
Yeah,
I had to
me
go on the
neither.
computer and look
Me
at the
neither,
spam
yeah.
section.
Yeah, you're like, that guy's back at it again, and there was like 5 of them. I'm like, oh, I didn't see any of those.
Yeah, no, it was all in
Yep,
spam. It was
it's perfect.
hilarious. All right, well, leave them in spam. Have
Oh
fun.
man.
Wow, that was a nice image. Deleted.
Anyway, so make sure you check out our YouTube page at Comic Movie
Yeah,
Marks.
there's some great entertainment on there.
Yeah, good back and forth. We got a great little community built up there.
Yeah.
A lot of great characters, a lot of different people, all commenting in our comment section.
Yes,
I
of
think that's what
YouTube.
you're supposed to.
Yeah. So please subscribe and comment as well. You can also find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Not as active on those as we probably should be, but yeah, you can find us on there, and we'll provide a link to our episode.
Yes, we'll be gracious enough to do that, I guess. Make sure you check us out on iTunes at Comic Movie Marks or in the Google Play Store. Find Podcast Republic because it plays all Comic Movie Mark podcasts.
Yes. Speaking of episodes, that link in our social media will give you those episodes.
Yes.
And also be sure to leave us that all important iTunes review. I think we have like 13 or something now.
Yep.
So the unlucky 13. We need a 14th. Come on. Anyone? Anyone?
Yep.
Anyone?
Yep.
14th?
Yep. You want to be lucky number 14?
Yeah, exactly.
And then the next person will be lucky number 15. Super lucky number 15.
Yeah. Super. And then super duper lucky number 16.
Yeah.
Anyone?
And not so lucky 17. 17 is a terrible number.
And it does automatically enter you in our next giveaway.
Yeah, whenever the hell that might be.
Whenever that is. So down the road, that will automatically enter you. So please leave us that iTunes
Whenever
review.
the Xbox 620 comes out. Or
Yeah,
whatever
there we go. 620. Probably.
Whenever that one comes out, will be 620 XS, whatever the fuck they're coming up now.
Slim.
Yeah. Nick, thank you again for coming on. Any at all final words about the whole show, or us, or you?
No, but you guys are fine gentlemen. Thank you again.
Not a bunch of laughing retards.
Well, that could also be true.
Oh,
he's a troll.
Man,
you
he's
fucker.
Marvel for kids.
Yeah.
Wait.
Wait, that doesn't make sense.
Actually, that's the perfect cover for him.
It is. We figured you out.
Man, you're mean.
Thanks a lot, guys.
A lot of fuck yous for no
Yeah,
reason.
a lot of hateful things.
It was like he was talking to a ghost. It was just like random fuck you. Stop laughing. Fuck you. It's like he's talking to nobody.
He's actually listening to the episode, and then as it gets to a certain point, fuck you.
Stop laughing.
Stop it
again.
Stop
Fuck
it.
you. Anyway,
Send.
in case I don't see you.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Long way down Holiday Road. Holiday Road. Holiday Road. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Take a ride on the West Coast Kid.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. You're one of very few to make it to the end.
Yes, thank you very much.
Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Comic Movie Marks Podcast and hit the notification bell. You know, all these fucking YouTube channels say this shit, so I'm going to say it now.
Yes, it's perfect. And if you want to hear our full podcast, you can check out our podcast on iTunes or any other podcast subscription service.
Make sure you subscribe. Thanks again.